of the year. And
man, we just
let's
getting
just
destroyed
say
over here on first round fantasy.
it didn't go well for J.K. Dobbins. It went south very bad. And like I said, fantasy takes a back seat. But I guess the question is, as we look forward and we move through the trenches, who's the running back to own? We saw Justice Hill get the 2 touchdowns, but he only averaged 2.2 yards per carry. Gus Edwards only had 8 carries, but he was pretty efficient with those carries. And we have to remember that J.K. didn't go down until midway through the second quarter. So with all of that being weighed in, are you going to go with the more efficient runner, or do you go with the goal line back, or do they completely mix it up next week? I mean, it's very hard to decipher, but I'm going to already chop this up into my start of the week because we're right into it. So my start of the week this week is Gus Edwards. He was the guy that has always been the clear-cut de facto backup to J.K. Dobbins. And I know what you're saying. They're always hurt. How do we even know who the backup is? I get that. But he is primed for success this week. Like I said, Justice Hill got the 2 touchdowns. He only averaged 2.2 yards per carry. They go up against the Bengals this week, who just gave up 200 yards rushing to the Cleveland Browns. And no, Gus Edwards is not a Nick Chubb by any means, but I think there's a real possibility here that, dude, Lamar Jackson, whole new look offense, whatever. He's going to throw the ball a lot more. Nothing really surprised me. It was a lot of short passes. He had some inaccurate passes. It's same old Lamar. He just didn't run as much. So it made him less useless as a quarterback for fantasy. So I think they're going to go back to what they know best, which is going to be continuing to run the ball, letting Lamar scramble. And I think Gus should have a good week against a team that was very beatable last week on the ground. That's why Gus Edwards is my start of the week this year. You have any thoughts? Or you can even say, who do you want to own in that backfield?
I've always liked Gus Edwards. Whenever I roster J.K. Dobbins, I always threw Gus Edwards at the end of my bench because I believed, hey, if anything ever happens to Dobbins, Gus Edwards would be the guy. But I think it was 2 years ago where Dobbins was getting so much hype and he got injured right away. Gus Edwards comes in, balls out, gets injured right away. And it was just a disaster. I think that was 2 seasons ago, if not last season.
And yeah, last season is when they all came back. It was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. Yeah. So it's just never ending with these guys. And I feel bad for them, obviously. Like it's, people say, oh, they're millionaires, who cares? But that's kind of cruel because like this is their dream to play. And like how many times we talked about it before, like John Harbaugh hugging J.K. Dobbins when he comes back, when he returns back to camp. And
more than football, baby.
Now that's just shattered and it's just awful. So but I'm look, Justice Hill, I just haven't seen it from this guy. I would lean Gus Edwards for sure.
For sure. Well, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think about J.K. Dobbins this week going up as my surprise performer for week 2 of the NFL season?